Here we have a young Scotch pine, another non-native, sometimes termed invasive tree, present all over Michigan. It was brought to the state and to many states because it's actually a great Christmas tree and grows really fast. It's great for Christmas tree plantations, but all too often it has escaped off of those plantations, or the plantations have just been sort of abandoned. The trees grow to maturity and become just big forests of Scotch pine. So Scotch pine is actually the most widely distributed pine in the world. It's a pretty fun fact, but it presents a lot of problems here in Michigan. It is very susceptible to a lot of pine insects and diseases that attack our other native pines. But this one they really like to attack, and it can bring in those pests and pathogens to areas where they might not be without the Scotch pine being here, but it kind of just draws them in, and then after it's killed the Scotch pine, they can move on to our other native pines. So really has the potential to bring a lot of problems in to a stand. Really easy to identify. It's got pretty terrible form in general. It's just kind of a gangly, branchy tree that's going off every which way. Might be a little hard to tell here. It's also got some really orange bark up towards the top. The base of it, when it's mature, usually looks a little darker, more like our other pines, but as you might be able to tell here, the tint of the bark gets to be pretty orange. That's a really easy way to distinguish it. It starts to flake off and it almost looks like it's been scratched halfway up the tree, like some of the outer bark has been peeled off. The needles, just knock off a branch here. The needles are pretty short. They're in fascicles of 2. They look almost as if somebody has just held them both and twisted them around. They're kind of spun a little bit, spun and twisted looking. They're a little bit blue-green. Again, in fascicles of 2. The cones, this tree, yeah, it's got a few cones up there. That should be pretty hard to see, but they point down, and you can see that they are pointing down up there, and often point backwards.